Hey y'all, we are back for another episode of Raw with a Purpose. I am Titani Harris, psychotherapist, author, speaker, CEO of TMH Behavioral Services, and founder of TMH Man Cave.
Hi, I'm Latasha Davis, Vice President of TMH Behavioral Services and Couples, Marriage, Relationship, and Family Expert.
Really? I want to jump right into today's episode. I'm not even going to ask you how you doing because I don't care.
Now you want to break consistency here? I have a problem when people don't want to be consistent. Keep it rolling.
Okay, fine. How are you doing, Latasha Davis?
Well, if you must ask, I am doing exquisitely well today.
Exquisitely. Let's get right to it. So there has been these lists, or the list that has been circulating social media. I'm sure you all know about it. I am just not a fan of this list or lists in general about unacceptable first dates that women have these expectations of where they don't want to go, or these standards, which is nothing wrong with expectations and standards, but I'm gonna say this. I am just tired of these lists. I don't like the way it divides us. And again, I know the list is universal, in terms of like ethnicity and race and things like that, but I want to speak to the Black experience and how I feel about Black women and Black men having this conversation and this discord as it pertains to this list, right? I don't like it. I think it divides us when it doesn't have to. At the end of the day, I just want us to be healthy together, and we need to understand that we are better together. So I want to get into that and talk about the list and things like that.
I think just now thinking about that list, it just makes me a little agitated because it makes me feel as though you're saying this is the quantifier, like this is the set tone for what we all should expect as women, and that you can't speak for me. And I feel like everybody is different. We all have different things. And I'm not going to say, and I want to make sure I'm putting it out there, I'm not saying this list is specifically I just want to make sure I'm putting out for myself and speaking and advocate for myself. That list does not apply to me. And I want to say it probably don't apply to a lot of women. I think we all have our own differences in what we expect and what we feel is acceptable for first dates or acceptable for dating. So, but I think people who may not have that confidence or have that reassurance in themselves could look at that list and say, oh, that's the blueprint of what I should be going by.
Exactly. I also think, like, when I think about the list, not just the list, but how women and men are sort of taught about dating and expectations very differently. I know in my experience and working with men and understanding their walk and what they think, a lot of times, I believe that some women, not all, some women are actually taught what to expect from a man, right? But they aren't taught like how they should treat a man, right? So it's always like a man should A, B, C, D, but nobody is talking about, and this is how you should be treat him. And it's like, men want to be loved too, right? And women do too, and they deserve to be loved. And I also believe that some women's value is based on how much money a man spends on them, right? And even further back, like, this list makes it seem like the only thing a man should be able to do is to take you out on nice dates and spend his money. And it's like, men are more than just their finances. I talk about this all the time in my work. Like, I think a part of the issue is the Black man's value is often based on how well he provides, and that's not fair, right? This is trash. And so it's frustrating. It's frustrating because we should be like this and we're like this at times.
Because we're dealing with a race tearing us down as Black, and now we are tearing our own race down with another entity, another thing that we have to, it's just like, when is it going to stop? When are we just going to say, hey, how can we work together? What can we do together? Like, I'm very big, I'm very big about a we thing. I don't like when you, this, it's like, what are we going to do different? Because it shifts things. So it's like, what are we going to do different to speak and provide for our own race and make, this is not our bystander. It's not our blueprint. We need to make our own blueprint that's going to be inclusive and it's going to be healthy.
And again, I think back to the list, there's nothing wrong with wherever you want to go on a first date, right? But as I was looking at that list, I just was cracking up because I'm like, some of those places I actually enjoy, but I also think it depends on what kind of woman you are, right? I think I said this, I'm like, well, for me, a great first date would be going to the gym because I like going to the gym, right? And I would be just like this, I would have the same level of excitement of a man who said, hey, let's go to the gym, and a man who also said, hey, let's go check out a game because he know I like sports, right? So I think for me, both of those will make me say like intentionality, and I'm not even thinking about the cost, right? I'm thinking about the person. Who is this asking me? What kind of character does he have, right? What was his approach for me? You know, what do you think about that?
I agree with you. I like to go on dates that I know I'm going to enjoy and they're going to enjoy. I like dates that's not going to be pressure based.
You had a good date recently, or was it a few months ago?
Hold on.
I'm telling your business. The Chili's date.
Pipe down.
My bad. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. Okay.
That wasn't the last.
Oh, my bad. I didn't know
that was back in 20s or early 30s.
Oh, I thought you were talking about recently, child.
But it just feels good.
Listen, wishful thinking. I'm sorry.
I'm telling you. But
okay.
That was really a good date. I really enjoyed it. I said that's the date I feel like changed me to not put the expectation on a man to have to take me to a 4 or 5 star restaurant.
Gotcha.
Because, like I said, I had two, and I think prior to that, I had 2 experiences with going to the 4 or 5 star restaurants, and both of them was not the best. I think 1, I just didn't enjoy the company, and I felt like 2, I felt like that person was not used to going to 4 or 5 star restaurants, and I didn't like the way it made them feel. I did not like the way to make me feel. Like we were looking at certain pricing and certain things says marketplace and market price. Market price, and some things didn't have pricing. So it's like I can see the uncomfortability in him, and I didn't like that. I'm a very empathic person and nurturing person. So for me to see anybody uncomfortable in a situation where this is supposed to be an joyous time, and you're constantly like thinking and you're trying to be on your toes and you're trying to impress somebody, it's just too much pressure. And I'm just like, I don't want to make nobody feel that way. I want someone to come, if it's a burger joint or coffee or Kill Wins or whatever, I just want us to genuinely, because what a date is supposed to be about is getting to know each other.
Exactly.
The atmosphere is external, secondary.
Yes, I'm not
saying I don't want to be in a restaurant with rats and stuff rolling around.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying.
I'm just saying. I don't want that, but I'm just saying. The scene is secondary. I don't want to be in a place that's going to be super loud. We can't get to know each other.
Yep.
So it's just like those.
I don't want to go
things.
to the movies because then we can't talk and interact.
Right, we can't talk and interact. So it's like certain concepts for things. So if I'm trying to get to know you, Starbucks is fine, Kill Wins is fine, going for a cocktail is fine. So it's just it's how we set up the situation. I just don't agree with. I personally don't have a problem with Cheesecake Factory. That's me.
Don't say that name. Don't get them no more publicity. I know I'm being funny.
I'm like, don't get no more airtime. No more airtime on our time. Okay. Now you talk down on purpose. You want to, because we gonna skyrocket. Right. but I just feel like we need to not put so much energy into. We have to be. And I say this to my couples. As much time as a couple or a woman or a man or whoever put into planning a wedding. If we got to put that much time into, we got to have this type of restaurant, put that much time into getting to know a person.
Yeah. I was going to say, we have to think about, and I'm glad you talked about this, the intent of the first date is getting to know the person, right? Like, that is, and again, I think certain atmospheres allow people to show up as their representative, where other atmospheres allow people to show up for themselves. Yeah. And I think it just depends on the person. Right. And so I think we need to keep in mind that, listen, there's nothing wrong with standards, because I know somebody say, well, I got standards. I need it's nothing wrong with that, but I want us to look beyond the surface, right? I think it's important that when we're dating, and I'm not a relationship expert, you are, so please chime in on this. I think it's important that we look at the internal things, right? Yeah. For me, a healthy relationship or a healthy friendship and getting to know someone, is this someone I can be vulnerable with, right? Does this person think about me, right? Do they notice the little things, if they heard me mention like, oh, I love popcorn or whatever, they bring me a bag of popcorn, like just the little things. And so I think those are the things that matter when we talk about, dating, first dates, and what's acceptable and what's good for you.
Yeah, and it's important that we, like I said, those little things, I think I remember more of the little things than the big things. Yes. I definitely remember more of the little things than the big things. I told you, like that Island Wave from them gas stations, give me every time. Yes. Longhorns in Texas Roadhouse gives me every time. Like I can, and like we were talking about, also, yes, you have your standards, but can you meet your own standards? Right. You want to put something out there, you got to be able to come to the table too, and be able to do the same thing if need. Because if you're in a relationship, what if that person go down and you need to pick it up?
I saw this meme and it said like, you buy your clothes from Shein.
Shein. Don't do that.
I thought it was Shein.
It is Shein, but I just like, if you want to
Okay.
be all bougie with a shirt on.
You buy your clothes from Shein, but yet you expect your first date to be a 5-star restaurant. So when I saw that, I chuckled, but that goes back to value, right? So I buy my clothes from Shein. Maybe that's what I like. Maybe I don't want to spend a lot of money on my clothes because I don't value my clothes, like what I wear. That's fair, right? As opposed to this man who may want to take us to a certain restaurant. He doesn't value me because Cheesecake Factory may not be as expensive as Ruth Chris, right? So I think it's interesting. It's interesting. But I will say this, as we wrap it up, to me, the biggest flex is being around somebody who wants to be around you and doing what you all want to do to get to know each other. At the end of the day.
Being intentional. Being yourself. Being authentic and genuinely you.
Yes.
And you are enough. So you don't have to be able to put on airs and do all this stuff. I'm like, I don't have the energy to put on airs and, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, there's a lot of pressure on the first day. I'm already probably nervous, you're nervous. Let's make it easy on ourselves. Let's just, you know, do something engaging. Like I like going to the arcade. I think that was the next date I really had.
I was going to end with that. I was going to say, like, I'm put both of us on the spot. What has been like one of your best first dates so far?
I think my best first date, I don't want to say it was in first, I don't even know if it's first date. I don't think I had like a very big first date that I was like, oh my God, this was really.
Won't have to be that,
but I mean,
that's memorable.
The memorable date, the arcade. The arcade was the most memorable date, and I haven't been there in years, so it's very nostalgic for me. And it was just like us just having a good time. Like we genuinely just like a little competitive. I'm glad he wasn't super competitive. I'm like, I ain't going to arcades with her.
Really?
She gonna try to beat me. Okay. I'm like, it's not gonna be
whatever.
But I had a really, really good time. Like it was just a laughter for me, like just letting loose and having a good time. And it was like we was being big kids, and it was so nice. It was like, wow, I didn't realize how much fun you really can have at the arcade. And it was just like, because you still get the opportunity to walk around and talk, and you still get the opportunity to kind of see how you engage and have fun and just be. And I think it forces you to be just yourself in a way. You know, it's like you don't have to put on this facade. We're at an arcade, so it's fun, it's light. So I think that was like one of my best dates. I really enjoyed it.
I think for me, one of my best first dates was this unplanned date where the person called me up, and I happened to be at an event where I was super dressed up, and they were like, meet me here, and the place was like not a dress up place at all, like soup, and I was like, oh my God. And we met there and had a great time, like cracking jokes, like even though I was dressed to the nines and he was dressed for the location we were at, we had a great first date, just talking and conversing, and like you said, just getting to know each other and just laughing.
And like you said, I just heard you say, like, I'm thinking like, oh my God, I'm going to this place that's super laid back. And initially, like, you're thinking about a first impression. Once you got there in a moment, you forgot about that.
I did.
You got lost in the conversation, you got lost in the sauce, and that's what it's about. Like being intentional about that person. Because to me, if we're going to be so focused on these places, is it really you want to get to know this person, or this is another check mark of a restaurant, another check mark for you to do?
Or a free meal for some people.
I know.
Yeah.
And I ain't gonna say I haven't done that too. I've been in there.
I did that in my 20s.
Girl, we done that. So been there, done that. And I'm like, I don't want to do that anymore. Like if I'm gonna eat with someone, I want to have a conversation. So it's not just a check mark of a restaurant, a check mark for a female for me at this time in my life. But like I said, that's ages and stages, and that's years of wisdom and growth.
Yep. And so like before we get up out of here, I just want you to remind you guys, like, the best relationship you can have is the one you have with yourself, and always remember that we are better together. Right? We are better together, and when we're together and we're better, our communities are better. So
I believe that, and I just want to make sure you understand whatever standard you want to put out. I would just encourage whatever standard you put out for somebody else, make sure you can meet your own standards for yourself as well.
And on that note, we will see y'all next time. Make sure y'all follow us at Raw with a Purpose. Follow me, Titania Harris, TMH Man Cave, TMH Behavioral Services.
And follow me, Chocolate Diva, also known as Latasha D29 at IG. And also, if you have any feedback, questions, concerns, anything like that, please email us, rawwithpurpose@gmail.com.
We'll see y'all next time.
Bye.